Hey, thanks for checking out my video. I'm Olivia, and today I'm going to be doing a palette bingo with a bunch of my Colourpop palettes. First of all, I feel like I look extra pale today. I might have gone a little too light with my blush and bronzer. It's also raining outside, so it's been pretty gloomy, and I feel like it's just dark everywhere, so maybe, I don't know. I am just also incredibly pasty, so maybe it's being picked up today. Also, please excuse my voice for the video. I am very congested. Like I said, it's pretty rainy outside, so my allergies are really acting up. I'm extra allergic to my own son when his fur is wet. So that's what's happening with me. I just kind of can't breathe. The things we do for our kids. So anyway, during my last Shop My Stash, I'd reached for a bunch of Colourpop palettes. These ones in particular I was inspired to reach for the spring season. The theming and color stories are just very much along those lines. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of use them all together in a little palette bingo. So I have 6 palettes here, and I think I'm going to randomize one shade from each palette. The first palette we have is the Lilac You A Lot palette. So it looks like we're going to get at least a little bit of purple in the look. I also reached for the Stage the Day palette. This one is very much a spring palette. I mean, these all are, but I definitely love this one this time of the year. I can't breathe. This one is the Tinkerbell palette. This is from the Basket of Shame. I haven't used this and I've owned it for years. Definitely a spring type of color story. It's very much leaning into the greens. So it looks like we'll probably get a purple and green look. I also grabbed the So Very Lovely. And this color story is a little bit more on the warmer side with some really cute pops with the lavender and the peach here. This is definitely one of my favorites as well. I also reached for the classic Sweet Talk palette. This one's just very much a peachy color story. And then I reached for the Gettin Fresh palette. And this one honestly is just kind of like a big mixture of all of them, maybe except for the purples. But it definitely has a nice variety of neutrals with some pops of green and some pops of peach. And yeah, I'm excited to see what kind of color story I get. So yeah, like I mentioned, I'm just going to randomize one shade from each palette and then we'll kind of go from there. Last time I was lucky enough to steal Bradley's phone because I film on my phone, but he's not here right now. So I have to go back to using my bulky ass laptop. Welcome to my channel. I'm embarrassing. So I just pulled out my tiny little random number generator here. I don't really want to hold this up for each number generation, but I also don't want to be accused of cheating. So here we go. I've set the maximum to 9, which will work for the first 3 palettes. So the first one I'm going to roll for is the Lilac You A Lot palette. Did that work? We got number 8. And number 8 in this palette is probably the most bright, saturated purple we could have gotten. So we're starting off strong. This is the shade Iffy, and that's exactly how I'm feeling about incorporating the shade into my look. I actually don't mind purples. I just feel like with the other palettes that we have to choose from, the other shades are going to be like green and peach. So I don't really know if this was the best option that we could have pulled for, but this is what we got. All right, now we'll pull for the Sage the Day. And we got number 4. All right, so number 4 is the shade here called Keep Calm. All right. This is where we're at. And now I'll generate a shade for the Tinkerbell palette. 8 again. Why am I scared? All right. God, I'm trying really hard not to wheeze on camera. You know what? I'm not mad at that. This was the shade Place Between. And you know what? I feel like that really just brought those 2 shades together. I feel like this is going in a good direction. So I just set the maximum to 12 shades for the next 2 palettes. And we'll randomize now for the So Very Lovely. And we got number 7. And number 7 is the shade Eyelet. I love that the green and peach are like matching my sweater perfectly. I don't know if the peach necessarily goes with the purple. I feel like these 3 shades or like these 3 shades would have been really cute together. But all 4, I'm feeling a little nervous. It's probably safe to assume we're going to roll another peachy shade from this palette. But let's see what we actually get. So from the Sweet Talk, we're going to do shade number 4. That's interesting. So we got the shade Work It here. It's almost like this muted orange, and I feel like it goes really nicely again with the peach and the green. I just don't know how I'm going to make everything work with the purple. I feel like the best thing I could hope for from the Gettin Fresh palette would be a neutral. And I feel like statistically, we should get a neutral. Don't let me down, random number generator. I switched the maximum to 30. And we're gonna get shade 28. You know what? I'm not mad at that. That was kind of an awkward swatch spot. But I pulled for the shade Hot Take down here. I feel like that was a really great shade to pick. It actually goes really well with the peaches, obviously the green. Number one was definitely the outlier. Yeah, I really feel like if this was the color story, it would have been really pretty. I'm going to wash my hands a little bit. I'm going to figure out what I'm doing with my life and this color story. And I'll be back to start the eye look. Okay, so my eyes are primed. And I think the best thing I could do with this would be to pair the purple and the peach. Purple and green is usually a cool combo, but since I have the peach and this kind of unique looking orange shade, I feel like it's going to be smarter to pair the purple with these. I don't know why. I've just decided. So I think what I'll do is a cut crease with the purple shade. I'll deepen it up with this shade. I'll probably use a combination of these two, like on the lid and obviously the shimmer. And then I think I want to do the green, at least on the inner part of the lower lash line. I'll see if there's another way I can incorporate it, but right now I think that's kind of the plan. So I think I'm just going to go in. I'm going to start with the purple. If I need to, I might try to blend it out with this shade. I don't know how well that's going to work. So hopefully the purple behaves on its own. So I'm just taking some of Iffy. And I guess we'll just kind of go for it. I am not going anywhere today, so nothing to lose except potentially a fun YouTube video. Taking some more of that purple on a bit more of a dense brush, just to start to build up the color a bit more. That is very rich. Just bringing it a little bit above the crease since I'm going to be cutting the crease. I do want the shade to like show through after I put the concealer on. I'm going to try and blend that out with just a hint of eyelet. I feel like that would look really nice since I'm going to be using eyelet probably on the lid. I feel like it'll kind of bring everything together if there's a little bit of a wash of it too on the outer part of the look. I'm just going to start small because I don't know how well they'll actually mix. I think that's all right. Maybe. I don't want to overdo it, so I'm going to stop there for now. So I'm going to go into the Gettin Fresh palette now, and I'm going to deepen that up with Hot Take. I'm going to bring that on the lower lash line just a little bit. I'm going to keep it to the outer part since I am thinking of adding the light green on the inner part. Alright, so I'm going to take some concealer and I'm just going to do a bit of like a half cut crease, and then we'll go in with the peach. Alright, so they're even enough. I'm going to go back in with the So Very Lovely palette, and again back into the shade Eyelet. I'm just going to pack that all over, but I will leave some space for the shimmer. Before I go in with that shimmer, I'm just going to re-intensify some of the purple along the crease, just to make it look a little bit more defined. Hi. Hi. What are you doing? We are going to have an Atlas intermission. Do you want to come up? Atlas intermission. Here's my beautiful son. He wants to be in the video. Good boy. And he brought us his toy. which somehow is still surviving. Barely. Aren't we all? And back to not being able to breathe. Alrighty, so I'm going to take the shimmer from the Tinkerbell palette, which again was placed between. I think I'll just use my finger. The purple is looking a little messy too. I might go back and fix it, but for right now, I'm just going to do this. That's fun. I've been enjoying palette bingos lately because I feel like they kind of force me to play with 5 or 6 different colors. I mean, obviously depending on the shades I actually pick, but I feel like my comfort spot is usually like doing something monochromatic or maybe playing with 2 colors. Or if I'm trying to like branch out and incorporate more colors, I might do something a little bit more predictable or cohesive if they're all kind of within the same family. So I have really been liking doing these palette bingos because like for today, or even my last one with the Norvina palettes, it does push me out of my comfort zone a little bit. They're also a really good way to spark some inspiration with color combinations you might not usually think of or try. Again, today's a great example. But yeah, I've just been having a lot of fun with them. I'm just gonna try to fix this a little bit. I might go back and forth a little bit with the peach and that shimmer shade, just to make sure everything meshes together. God, I'm sorry I'm such a mouth breather in this video. I literally so clogged right there and here, just kind of everywhere. I really like how this is coming together. I'm just gonna go in with a little bit more of that shimmer shade just to re-intensify the sparkle a little bit. That's pretty. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the shade Work It from the Sweet Talk palette, and I'm just gonna blend out the outer part of the lower lash line. I know it's not exactly like prominent in the look, but I also feel like it's difficult to make every shade prominent in every look. I feel like I tried that in my last palette bingo with the ABH Norvina palettes, and while the final look was pretty, I just feel like it wasn't my favorite, and I feel like it's because I tried to do that. So I wanted to try and make it a point today to actually create something that was cohesive and looked nice together. So hopefully that's not considered cheating or anything. I'm still using the shade. I still want it to be visible. It's just not like the main part of the look. All right, so now I'm gonna go in with Keep Calm. I'm gonna put that on the inner part of the lower lash line. I'm gonna leave the inner corner for now. I'm not sure if I wanna do the peach or the green, or I might end up using a face highlight. I'll kind of see how I feel. Just gonna take that on a fluffier brush and just kind of bring it down, blend it out a little bit. Going back in with Work It, I'm actually really loving that shade against the green. I think that's really pretty together. And I think I will do Eyelet in the inner corner. Still re-intensifying that green there though. I'm tempted to use a shimmer from one of the Colourpop palettes on the inner corner, but I feel like that's cheating if I pull in an extra shade. So I'm just gonna go with this highlight palette instead. And I'm gonna go in with Frostbite and just kind of layer that over the inner corner. Just going in with a little bit more of Hot Take. And I think that's pretty much gonna be the eye look. I'm gonna finish everything up off camera and wash my hands, and I'll be back to show you the final look. All right, so this is gonna be the finished look. You might be able to notice the inner part of the lash hanging on for dear life. I'm too lazy to fix it because I'm gonna wash this off after the video anyway, so just ignore it. Yeah, I really like how everything turned out. I am still bothered by the fact that my face is just throwing off the white balance, but I think that's just my life right now. But anyway, I feel like the look turned out really pretty. Not to toot my own horn, but I really like how I put all the colors together. I was obviously pretty skeptical about that purple at the beginning, but I don't know. I feel like it kind of worked out just to make it almost the focal point of the look. And it paired really nicely with the peach and then the deeper neutrals that we got as well. So yeah, overall I'm really happy with the look. I'm very into this combo too on the lower lash line. I'm tempted to do this color combination during the week too, but like for the whole eye look, I just feel like it's really pretty. So you might see that combination again in my next palette roundup that I am trying to do monthly. We'll see if it works out. I forgot to mention the products I was using before and after the eye look, but the bronzer today is from Fenty. It's the cream bronzer in the shade Butter Biscuit. For the blush, before I went in with the eye look, I was wearing this Cheek Dew from Colourpop. This is one of their serum blushes in the shade Hibiscus. I felt like I needed a little bit more once the eye look was done, so I topped over the blush with this one from Milani, and this one's in the shade Blossom Time Rose. For the lip combo, I'm using Insanity from Urban Decay. It's just like a peachy nude shade, and then I topped over it with this gloss from Pixie, and this one's in the shade Sweet Nectar. In the waterline, I went in with this peachy eye pencil. I think I got this in an Ipsy or BoxyCharm a very long time ago. It looks like it's from the brand Skin by Dimitri James. This one's just a brightening pencil. It's not really like a fun, colorful peach shade. It's more just like a slight peachy hue, again, to brighten the eyes. So that's what I have in the waterline. And the lashes are from Ardell. They are the Faux Mink Wispies. So yeah, that's everything I used for the look. Again, I really like how it turned out. I feel like it is very spring. We got a really fun combination, and I really like how I put everything together. As usual, I would love to know what you think though. Please feel free to leave a comment down below. I'd love to know what you think of the look, or if you would have done something completely different with the color combination. Otherwise, that's going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for spending your time watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!